Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be looking at the song Rain by Sleep Token. Just as a reminder, this is a continuation of the series I'm doing on Sleep Token's album Take Me Back to Eden. So feel free to go back and watch the playlist of the previous songs, and I will be doing the rest of the songs after this one, but let's hop right into it from the start.
For so long I've waited, so long that I almost became just a stoic statue fit for nobody, and I don't wanna get in your way, but I finally think I can say that the vicious cycle was over the moment you smiled at me.
Ooh. So right off the bat, we get this, it's a little bit melancholy with the way that the piano is being played here, but it's also got a lot of movement and a lot of motion. It's a little bit more lively than some of the more slow, I guess, depressing piano parts, like in Ascension. Yeah, the start of Ascensionism, by the way, very plodding, very slow. But here it's pretty lively, actually. We've got Vessel, of course, doing a lot of emotion in his vocals here. Yeah, it draws us right in. Once again, it's interesting to see how they start songs, because Sleep Token very rarely just go right in to the song. There's usually some kind of intro, and they're always around like 45 to like sometimes as long as like a minute and a half, it feels like, to get into the rest of the song. But it's always setting the tone, and here I can hear like the melancholy, but there's some lively bits as well, so it's not quite as sad sounding as it could be, I think.
The moment you smiled at me, and just like the rain, you cast the dust into nothing and wash out the soul from my head.
Hear the rain sounds in the background.
Me again, I feel my shadow dissolving. Will you cleanse me with pleasure?
Big focus on these vocals.
That chemical cut that I can get down with, up like the moon and out like the hounds. A dangerous disposition, somehow refracted in light, reflected in sound. I'm coiled up like a venomous serpent, tangled in your trance, and I'm certain you have got your hooks in me.
Man, yeah, let me tell you something about building a song right there. So we start really stripped down with just kind of that drum beat, that like vamping drum beat that's repetitive, with just Vessel's vocals, and then adding in like the piano, and man, you can tell it's about to come in too, because the drummer is like hit some cymbals, and then we get this like driving, like hard rock type guitar playing, where it's just chugs on the important like beats that they want to accent. Man, that's a fun build. I want to hear it again. It's pretty high.
Disposition, somehow refracted in light,
You'll hear the
reflected in sound. I'm coiled up
yeah,
like a venomous serpent, tangled in your trance, and I'm certain you have got your hooks in me.
really good harmonies there too.
I know the way that it goes. You get what you give, you reap what you sow, and I can see you in my faith. And I know I am what I am, the mouth of the wolf, the eyes of the lamb. So darling, will you saturate?
The piano's still doing some stuff in the background too.
So touch me
That is such a good chorus. I I love it. So obviously we know how it sounds because we've already heard it once. So now they brought everything in, gave us the full version. Man, that's just such a good build. That build is like a minute 45 long or something like that. Just to continue to build this. Man, that's impressive.
Nobody can say
Yeah.
for certain if maybe it's all just a game. When I open my eyes to the future, I can hear you say my name.
Very intimate right here.
Rain down on me.
Bring back that drum rhythm. And we're gonna get a little fade out here. Some rain noises, very nice. Kind of a long fade out. Still going. Okay, just giving them some space, I guess, before the next song. But what's really interesting to me is hearing so that final kind of melodic thing that's going on with the piano when we get the rain down on me over and over. You can hear it. That like piano or synth part that's going on in the background. That was actually set up in, I think, the first verse. I think that's going on really quietly behind everything else. So once again, I like to point these things out because it just shows how they craft the song to they blend in different parts in other parts of the song to set you up for what's coming. They just put it in the background and then bring it to the foreground, which is really interesting to me from a songwriting perspective. Overall, with this song, it starts very much like you would expect a Sleep Token song to start, right? Just Vessel kind of pouring his heart out. The main draw to this song is how they slowly change it from kind of a straightforward drum beats and him just kind of singing over top of it to a more driving, I don't even know. I keep saying like Breaking Benjamin is what I think of sometimes when I think of like the kind of guitar playing that was being done with the chugs and stuff like that. But overall, I really do like the song. I'll be honest though, it loses me a little bit when we get to the Rain Down on Me part because once again, don't crucify me for this, but it's a little too Imagine Dragons for me. Which obviously I think they're better than Imagine Dragons. Like people have compared them. Some famous critics, if you or on YouTube, have definitely kind of said this is kind of like glorified Imagine Dragons. I don't believe that, but I do kind of see the comparison when you get to the last part of this song. However, I do give them full credit for how they got there. The build is amazing. The emotional weight of the song is amazing. So I will go ahead and hop in to look at the lyrics here because this song takes a turn, I think, in the narrative here. So we get our setup where Vessel seems to be talking about how he is a stoic statue, fit for nobody. I don't want to get in your way, but I finally think I can say that the vicious cycle was over the moment you smiled at me. So this feels a little bit like a resolution for him because this vicious cycle I think we're meant to believe is him grappling with sleep, right? Um, you could even think like day night, right? The day night cycle where he's living his life but then being drawn back in by sleep to kind of relive the time he had with his ex. And this to me makes me think that this song, for once, is about a woman who is not his ex. Because we get a very cathartic kind of chorus where it seems like he's being healed, right? Just like the rain, you cast the dust into nothing and wash out the salt from my hands. Which, to me, if we think about last album, that could be reference to like the residue from him coming out of the ocean, right? Something like that. So touch me again, I feel my shadow dissolving. Will you cleanse me with pleasure? Which obviously this is going to have some sort of kind of romantic sexual connotation here. And it kind of continues a little bit, the chemical cut that I can get down with, up like the moon and out like the hounds. I think that what's going on in this song is Vessel has kind of reignited his ability to enter like romantic relationships. However, there's still a little bit of hesitation, right? There's a little bit of I guess his ego is hurt. His self-worth is kind of damaged by what happened with sleep. So we've got these lines like, I don't want to get in your way, you know, that kind of thing. And this part where he says, I'm coiled up like a venomous serpent, tangled in your trance, and I'm certain you have got your hooks in me. So he's still defensive, right? I can't imagine, if we're going with the interpretation that he's lost his ex, like she has died. I can't imagine the difficulty you would have to face to try to go back and be vulnerable again, to be in a relationship, to try to move on from that. And I think these are like his kind of like last stand against opening up again, right? Coiled up, like protecting your belly, right? And even then kind of saying he's in a trance, you've got your hooks in me. He's making it combative still a little bit, which is to be expected if you've gone through something traumatic like the death of a loved one and you're trying to get back into the dating game or something like that, right? What's interesting here is I think that the hooks in me line clarifies that this is not about sleep at all. Because every time we talk about sleep in the discography, it seems like he would have said, you have your teeth in me, if we were talking about sleep. But here we have hooks, which is different. I think significantly different to say that we're talking about another person. We get, I know the way that it goes, you get what you give, you reap what you sow. I can see you in my fate. He says he has the mouth of the wolf, the eyes of the lamb, which once again, I think gets to this duality of him not being able to really be vulnerable yet. Maybe he's holding on to, you know, the teeth of the wolf, but like he wants to move on. So you can kind of see the eyes of the lamb representing that like innocence coming back. And finally, I think kind of the catharsis of the song, right? He says, when I open my eyes to the future, I can hear you say my name. The talk of the future is very significant here, because very much the themes of Sleep Token so far have been a fixation on the past. So it's almost like he's waking up, opening his eyes, seeing that there is something for him moving forward. Now, once again, I think this kind of gets to the main theme of the song, right? Moving on from, you know, a past relationship, making yourself vulnerable to a new one, and the struggles that come along with that. And to support this, we have the album artwork for this song, which shows, it looks like, could be multiple women or the same woman with multiple heads, right? But this, I do not believe, is supposed to represent sleep. There's a few reasons I think this. one, this is a very welcoming kind of gesture we have. Even though there's horns, right? It still has that kind of like demon devil imagery. We have this welcoming embrace. And more importantly, there's something very interesting about this one that has not shown up on the rest of the album artwork. There's no armor. There's no weapon. Because even with Are You Really Okay, where it was more of a... the artwork was supposed to be more welcoming, that character had a sword still. They weren't raising it like they were going to attack, but they still had the sword. But here we've got nothing. And I think that is meant to represent kind of the vulnerability of Vessel's situation, right? Being able to be vulnerable, to take off the armor, to put down the weapon, to maybe move on from this and be able to have romantic relationships again, sexual relationships again. That's what I think is going on with this. Now, as you can see, there are runes all over this character. If you remember with the apparition, I tried to decode the runes and didn't find anything, so I did not take the time to go through this one. But I have seen on the subreddit where people were talking about decoding these and saying that on their current tour, there is a banner flying behind the band as they play. And apparently, whatever it says there is what it says in these runes on this figure. So you can look that up if you're interested. But I think I've got a good handle on what the song's about. Let me know what you think about this song. I know this is also one of those songs that people are really hype about. I think it is one of those songs that might bridge to a new audience as well, Sleep Token. It is more, I don't want to say by the book, but it's more accessible than maybe the longer songs that I enjoy more personally. But I feel like kind of a radio audience could use this as a jumping off point to get more into the music. So I appreciate it for that. It's definitely a good song. I will be moving on to the next song, the title track for the next song, which is exciting. So subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Like the video, comment if you have something you want to add. I do read all the comments, and I will see you on the next video.